Welcome, everyone. This is Bedtime Stories with Duck and Goose. I'm Goose. Oops. That's Duck. All right. A little spot of anxiety. A story about calming your worries. Hi, I'm a peaceful spot, and this gray spot is an anxiety spot. What's an anxiety spot? He looks worried. Your anxiety spot can show up when you are feeling worried, nervous, anxious, or scared. Anxiety is one of many emotions we can experience every day. Other emotions are sadness and anger, too. We all have these emotions inside of us, but we feel the best we are in our peaceful spot. Your anxiety spot makes you worry a lot, especially when you are trying new things. Remember when you first tried to play soccer? What if I'm bad at this? Or when you had to take a test? What if I fail? Every time your anxiety spot asks you, what if? Remember, you can always answer with, I can do this. That's not an answer. As someone with anxiety, that's not an answer. That will help you change your anxiety spot to a peaceful spot, like me. It's okay to have small anxiety spots because sometimes worrying protects you. But when your worries become too big or too many, it doesn't feel very good. And it can make you miss out on things that are fun and good for you. I feel like I'm getting called out by this book. Sometimes when your anxiety spot begins to grow, it can cause a tummy ache, or it can make you start to sweat. This is your body telling you that you need to manage your anxiety spot quickly. Did you know there are things you can do that keep your anxiety spot from getting too big? Like making sure you're eating healthy and making sure you get plenty of rest and making sure you are fully hydrated. This will give your body enough energy to help prevent your anxiety spot from showing up. Oh, if it were only that simple. Music and drawing and writing can help you express your worries through art instead of letting your anxiety spot grow. Sometimes you end up in a situation where your anxiety spot surprises you. And it can start growing really fast. But before you panic, I want to show you how to quickly shrink your anxiety spot. Okay, look at your hand. Now, imagine 5 gray spots on your fingers and 1 green spot on your palm, just like this picture. Now, with your pointer finger of your hand, I want you to draw an imaginary line from one of the gray spots to the green spot on your palm and repeat after me. From the tip of my finger to the middle of my palm, I can do this. I can be calm. Imagine the worry on your gray spot, your anxiety spot, is traveling to the green spot, the peaceful spot, and becoming calm. Now, for the second part. This worry grew too big and cannot stay. Take a deep breath and blow it away. Imagine yourself blowing the worry off of your gray spots. Now, all you can see is the calm green spot. Taking slow, deep breaths is a great way to calm your anxiety spot. Now that it's not near you anymore, it can't make you worry. Okay, Now that you have learned a way to calm your anxiety spot down, let's try it in situations when your anxiety spot surprises you. Oops. Like your first day of school. Being away from your parents or guardian can make you scared and anxious. Or meeting new people can make you worried that you won't fit in. This is the perfect time to practice our little trick. What if I don't fit in? Oh, what if you don't come back? From the tip of my finger to the middle of my palm, I can do this. I can be calm. This worry grew too big and cannot stay. Take a deep breath and blow it away. I can do this. I will see you later. Or when you showed up at a party and your anxiety spot came with you. But what if they don't like me? Sometimes it's hard to be around new people, but worrying only makes your anxiety spot grow. Instead, practice our little trick. From the tip of my finger to the middle of my palm, I can do this. I can be calm. There we go. This worry grew too big and cannot stay. Take a deep breath and blow it away. I can do this. This party will be fun. The more times you shrink your anxiety spot down, the stronger your peaceful spot becomes. Celebrate when you are able to shrink down your anxiety spot. Use that confidence to help you in new situations when your anxiety spot shows up. If you need some help, just remember our little trick. From the tip of my finger to the middle of my palm, I can do this. I can be calm. This worry grew too big and cannot stay. Take a deep breath and blow it away. The end. One little dragon. Not all friends must be the same. This is from Fat Moon Books. There was a little dragon whose name was Drake. He would nap in the forest and splash in the lake. He would skip in the meadow and play on the hill and hide from the children by keeping very still. He liked to watch them play in the sun. He wished that he could join in the fun. Go play with them, his mom would say, but Drake was afraid that they would run away. So he hid by the trees and watched them play, until something happened one special day. Drake saw a small boy whose name was Bill. Bill climbed the tall tree at the top of the hill. He wanted an apple, but he could not reach. He stood on the branch, but it started to creak. Oh no. Bill fell from the tree with a scared little yelp. Drake caught him and said, "Let me help." Drake flapped his wings and flew to the top. He picked a red apple, the best in the crop. Drake gave it to Bill, saying, "Now you can eat." Bill gave half to Drake and shared the treat. "Let's be friends," Drake said to Bill. They skipped in the meadow and played on the hill. They ran in the forest and splashed in the lake. Bill said, "You are my best friend, Drake." A girl called Sue stopped and stared. Drake was different, and she felt scared. "You cannot play with this," Sue said. Drake began to cry and hid his head. Bill said, "He gets apples from the tree. Drake's been a good friend to me." Sue said, "So what? I can climb that tree. Drake's not as good a friend as me." That's rude. Sue climbed the tree and did not stop till she reached the very, very top. Now the ground was too far away. She was stuck, she saw with dismay. Help, she cried. I can't get down. What can we do? Bill asked with a frown. Ducks run away. Hold on. I will help her, Drake said from nearby. He flapped his wings and started to fly. To the top of the tree, the dragon flew and came back down, holding on to Sue. Thank you, she said and hugged him tight. You are a good friend. Bill was right. I was wrong to send you away. You may be different, but that's okay. Sue said, not all friends must be the same. Will you join us in our game? Drake clapped his hands and flapped his wings. He was so happy. He wanted to sing. Now all the children are friends with Drake. They skip in the meadow and splash in the lake. They run in the forest and play on the hill, along with Sue and Drake and Bill. Now their days are filled with fun because they can be friends with anyone. The end. Too cute to spook. Like every other monster, Laurie wants to scare kids. He wants to be the scariest monster of all. Eek! Oh no. Laurie wants to follow in the footsteps of his famous ancestors, his dreadful great-grandfather, Scabby Moldbody, who was known for making kids scream the loudest, and his gruesome great-grandmother, Henrietta Fang, who was responsible for more nightmares than any other monster. Unfortunately, Laurie is different. He isn't creepy like the other monsters. Laurie is cute, and kids are not afraid of cute little monsters. Laurie hates being cute. He tries to splash in puddles and roll in dirt to make his coat look shabby and grubby. He tries eating nasty worms to make his teeth dark and gross. No matter what he does, Laurie is still too cute to spook anyone. Fortunately, Laurie has a big bookshelf full of answers. He pulls out a book and flips through it to find out what children are afraid of. Kids are afraid of scary noises, Laurie reads. Laurie sees two kids walking to school. He puffs out his chest and musters up a scary sound. But instead of running away, the kids just laugh. Wee! Laurie drags himself to the bookshelf. Kids are afraid of the tusks and claws of monsters, he read out loud. During lunch break, Laurie tiptoes over to the children, waves his claws, and shows a terrifying grin. The kids wave back. Teary-eyed Laurie runs back home. He looks up at the thickest book on the top shelf, climbs the ladder, and lugs the heavy book down. Most of all, kids are afraid of spooky, eerie movements, he reads. Laurie finds the kids at the playground. He hops towards them, flutters his arms, and does cartwheels. So cute. The kids giggle and hug him. Laurie breaks free and runs until he is out of breath. I am the worst monster ever, Laurie sobs. I don't want to be cute. I want to be scary. Just then, ahead of him is the biggest, meanest, and scariest gang of monsters he has ever seen. Oh no, they are going to laugh at me too, Laurie thinks, but something unbelievable happens. Ah, he's so cute. Oh, he's too adorable. I can't look at him anymore. That is terrifying. Run! The big monsters shriek and scatter. Are they afraid of me? Lori wonders. Turns out, monsters are afraid of anything cute. And the scariest thing for them is a cute little monster. Scaring monsters is much more fun than scaring kids. Lori takes pride at being able to frighten monsters. Hey kids, do you want me to tell you the secret of scaring big bad monsters? How to frighten monsters. 1. If you believe a monster is near you, start singing loudly until he leaves. Monsters hate singing. 2. If a monster is chasing you, stop. Look him in the eyes. Smile. He will run away. Monsters hate smiles. If you want to chase a monster away, offer him a big hug. Monsters hate hugs. The end. Hey, it's the next book. This one's called Monster. Wonder if they're from Boston. Monster lived in the park. At night, he slept alone under a bush. During the day, he tried to get the other creatures to play with him. Flap, flap. The birds would fly away, scared of his matted coat. Meow. The cats would puff their tails and run at the sight of his dirty nails. Ruff, ruff. The dogs would growl and bark at his yellow teeth. He worried he would never find a friend. One day, a family came to the park. Maybe they will be my friends, Monster hoped. He approached them shyly. The girl reached out to touch Monster. No one had ever tried to touch him before. Finally, a friend, Monster thought. He was so happy. Monster! The little brother wailed. No, Nikki, don't touch, her mom yelled, and pulled the girl away. Go away, you monster, shouted Nikki's dad. That's not very nice. So he did, but not too far. Monster lay down with a sigh. There was no one else around. Nikki sat down with a sigh. There were no other kids to play with. Monster's tummy rumbled. Some bread and a piece of cheese landed at his feet. Monster peeked out from behind the tree to see Nikki tossing more food in his direction. No one had shared food with him before. Maybe she is my friend after all, Monster thought. Just then, Monster saw the family packing up to leave. Oh no, I'll be all alone again. Unless... Nikki opened up her backpack. Monster tiptoed over it and jumped in. Nikki winked and whispered, "Shh." Quietly, she closed the backpack and carried it gently to the car with a smile. No one else noticed the big brown eyes. The big brown eyes peeking out of a tiny opening in the bulging backpack next to Nikki on the car ride home. Oh, I have hiccups. Safely up in her room, Nikki unzipped the backpack and let Monster out. Monster trotted after Nikki, but hid from the rest of the family. Under the table, behind the door, under the bed, behind the curtains. Then night came, and the house grew quiet. Instead of curling up under the bushes of the park, Monster curled up next to Nikki and fell fast asleep. In the morning, Monster! His shriek woke the whole family. Nikki? Mom appeared at the doorway. Oh no! Nikki sat up, rubbed her eyes. Monster hid behind her. Oh no! Dad peeked into the room. You brought that monster home? He is not very nice. Can I keep him? Please, Nikki begged. He's filthy, said Mom, shaking her head. He smells, said Dad, pinching his nose. Please, please, give him a chance. I will take care of him. Nikki begged again. Let me show you. First, Nikki gave Monster a bubbly bath. Then she clipped his nails, brushed his teeth, and combed his fur. Look what was hidden under all that dirt, said Nikki, presenting the new monster to her parents. What are you going to name him? Asked Dad. Does that mean I get to keep him? Nikki grinned. Mom and Dad shared a look. Mom shrugged her shoulders. Dad smiled. Monster! I will call him Monster, Nikki said. Monster! The end. Moon's first friends. 1 giant leap for friendship. Oh, cool. Scan this barcode, or this QR code, to hear the countdown of Apollo 11's liftoff. It's pretty awesome. For every soul that dared to dream, for each giant leap and quiet step, for all of those who brought us to places we never thought we'd be, and for giving the moon her first friends. For everyone who dreams of great things, reach for the moon. To all those who have a mission in their heart and to fight to complete it, no matter what. Those are cute. The moon was queen of the night sky. She was so bright that everything she touched glowed with silver light. But after many, many years had passed, she was lonely. If only someone would visit me, she said. Hello down there, she called to the lumbering dinosaurs. If you come up here, you won't feel so heavy. You'll feel lighter than air. But the dinosaurs stayed where they were. Under the moon's watchful eye, the surface of the earth changed. The moon saw glorious new creatures come and go. Saber-toothed tigers, mastodons, woolly mammoths, the dodo bird, whales, rhinoceroses, and elephants. But they all stayed earthbound and rarely looked up to her in the night sky. Then she saw something new. At night, people conjured fires like tiny stars. There are millions of stars up for you up here, she offered, but the people stayed where they were. The moon watched as she circled and circled the earth. On the wide sweep of the hot Sahara, the Egyptians built stone pyramids that towered toward the sky. They're trying to reach me, the moon marveled. But though the pyramids were mighty, they came nowhere near high enough to reach the moon. Perhaps they didn't see her. She spun and twirled from new moon to majestic silver pearl and back again, showing off for the people below. But no one came. She watched as down on Earth, people came up with all kinds of ways to get from one place to another. But they did not sail, or drive, or cycle, or float to the moon. Then, on a windy day in North Carolina, the first airplane flew above a beach. You're doing great, encouraged the moon. You just need to fly a little bit higher. But the people on Earth only traveled to visit one another. Was it possible they didn't know she was there? At high noon, the moon slipped purposely between the Earth and the sun, blocking all the daylight. Then she slid aside again, allowing the sun to shine through. No one could have missed that, she thought. But still, no one ventured away from Earth. Would she ever have a visitor? Then, just when the moon was losing hope, the people on Earth began to experiment with rockets. and the moon watched with great interest. But the humans still had a lot to learn. One day, the moon's hopes soared. A chimpanzee in a Mercury capsule rocketed toward her. A visitor, at last! But alas, he returned to the Earth without reaching her. Then, one hot July day, a tremendous rocket stood upon a launch pad with 2 small spaceships perched on top. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. At 30 stories high and weighing 6 million pounds, the rocket rose into the air amid an explosion of flames. Slowly at first, and then faster and faster. The rocket fell away in stages, but the 2 spaceships hurtled toward the moon. "They're coming," the moon said. "They're actually coming." Whoop. Where are we? There. Nope. One of the spaceships remained... There we go. Duck was being Mike Wazowski there for a second. There we go. One of the spaceships remained at a distance, circling, but the other came closer and closer until, at last, its spindle's legs touched down. "Welcome," she greeted the men who emerged from the ship. The astronauts walked across her surface with great bounding leaps that made her dust bloom. There we go. They seemed delighted with how far they could travel with each stride. The moon gave them gifts of rocks. The moon gave them gifts of moon rocks and dust. "Take these back to Earth," she said. "Then, even though I can't visit you, a part of me will be there." The men left her a present in return, a handsome plaque that read, "Here, men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace for all mankind." They also left her a beautiful flag with red and white stripes and a scattering of white stars on a blue background. Too soon, the astronauts had to leave. "Goodbye," the moon said as their ship floated away into the starry distance. "Come back anytime." She sighed with happiness. At last, someone had visited. And now she had hope that it would happen again and again. Maybe one day you will visit her. Mission Moon. NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, was established in July 29th, 1958, and became operational October 1st, 1958. NASA is part of the U.S. government and is in charge of science and technology related to airplanes and space. NASA makes satellites, sends probes into space, studies the solar system, explores planets and asteroids, and many other things. You probably know NASA best for its space program, which sends spacecrafts and people into space. Since its beginning, NASA has had many spaceflight programs, including Project Mercury, Project Apollo, the International Space Station, and more. Those are the phases of the moon. All right, out of this world facts. It takes about 1 month or 29 and a half days specifically, for the moon to get all the way around the Earth. The moon does not give off light the way the sun does. What we see as moon glow is actually reflected light of the sun. Earth's moon is the 5th largest one in our solar system. The moon is much smaller than the Earth, about 1/4 the size. The moon is only 2,159 miles across from one side to the other, or the diameter, with a circumference of 6,783.5 miles. Earth's diameter is 7,926 miles. The moon has no air, no weather, and no life, although water was discovered on the moon in 2009. The Apollo 11 voyage. On May 25th, 1961, President John F. Kennedy went to Congress with a very special goal. American astronauts were going to visit the moon in less than 10 years. Although many thought it couldn't be done, Congress liked the idea so much that they approved a budget of more than $25 billion. That's a lot of money. NASA launched the Apollo 11 program with the goal of landing Americans on the moon, taking samples, photos, and data, and then returning home safely. The program was challenging, and NASA estimated that it took over 400,000 engineers, scientists, and technicians to make the moon landing possible. Finally, on July 16, 1969, after more than 8 years of training, planning, and preparation, NASA launched the Saturn V rocket from Cape Kennedy. Piloted by astronauts Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, the Saturn V flew through space for more than 3 days. On July 20th, 1969, more than 530 million people listened as Neil Armstrong became the first man to set foot on the moon, saying, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." After almost 22 hours on the moon's surface, Apollo 11 safely returned to Earth. Actually, what he said, according to him, was one small step for a man and one giant leap for mankind. But debated. This has information on the spacesuit and the rocket. Oh my goodness. This is about the first stage, the second stage, and the third stage of the rocket. Here, first, second, third. Instrument unit and command service module. Interesting. And here is the rocket. First stage, second stage, the third stage, the instrument unit, and the Apollo spacecraft way at the tippy top. And you can scan this QR code to listen to Neil Armstrong's first words on the moon. The end. Shark Lady, the true story of how Eugenie Clark became the ocean's most fearless scientist. That was bright. It was Saturday, and Eugenie wanted to stay at the aquarium forever. She wanted to smell the damp, salty air and stare at the glittery rainbow of fish. She wanted to keep watching her favorite animals, the sharks. Eugenie pretended that she was walking on the bottom of the sea. What would it be like to swim with her sharks? Thank you for following. What would it be like to swim with her sharks, to breathe underwater with gills of her own. More than anything, she wanted to find out. When the summer came, Eugenie's mother took her to swim at the beach in Atlantic City. Stuffing sticky gum into her ears to keep the water out, Eugenie dove down and down and down. The salt stung her eyes, but she didn't want to miss a single fish. Constellations of sea stars speckled the pebbled sand. That was tricky. She imagined a silvery fin standing strong on her back, slicing through the ocean current. To others, sharks were ugly and scary, but Eugenie knew they were beautiful. As she glided through the cool water, she wished everyone could see sharks through her eyes. Yeah, they're so pretty. But the sharks were only in her mind. For now, Eugenie decided to learn everything she could about them. So she dove. This time, into books. Whale sharks, nurse sharks, tiger sharks, lemon sharks. Eugenie wanted to know all about them. She also joined the Queens County Aquarium Society as its youngest member. Eugenie's notebooks were filled with sharks. They swam in her daydreams and on the margins of her pages. At home, Eugenie's mother surprised her with an aquarium of her own. A 15-gallon tank was much too small for sharks, but Eugenie saved her allowance to buy guppies and clownfish and coral red snails. It felt as big as an ocean in her room. Their small apartment became an aquarium, a laboratory, and a sanctuary. As she grew older, many were still telling Eugenie what to do. Forget those sharks. Be a secretary. Be a housewife. Eugenie wanted to study zoology, but some of her professors thought women weren't smart enough to be scientists or brave enough to explore the oceans. And they said sharks were mindless monsters. Eugenie knew better. Her dream was as big as a whale shark. So again, Eugenie dove. She plunged into every course she could. Her laboratory became her home. From sunrise to sunset, she studied how fish grew, how they behave, and how they were put together, both inside and out. Despite all of the people who didn't believe in her, Eugenie was becoming one of the smartest students in her field. Even after earning her degree, many still doubted her. But Eugenie's work was just beginning. Eager to make discoveries of her own, Eugenie finally dove into the open ocean. In the Red Sea, Eugenie collected hundreds of fish, including 3 new species that had not yet been discovered. They were the Red Sea sand diver, Trichonodus nicki, the barred xenia pipefish, with a really long Latin name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce, and volcano triplefin, Helcogramma volcana. Yeah. On a research mission exploring the Palawa Islands, Eugenie was diving alone. She encountered her first ever wild shark. She wasn't afraid. Instead, she thought it was beautiful. In Isla Muera, she dispelled the myths that sharks must keep moving to stay alive when she swam through dark caves, still and silent. full of resting sharks. Eugenie's daring heart grew bolder with each dive. Soon, they began to call her Shark Lady. Eugenie had proven she was smart enough to be a scientist and brave enough to explore the oceans. As her courage grew, she began to love and understand her beloved sharks more and more. But she never forgot many still believed that sharks were mindless killers. Because of their scary reputation, humans were hunting sharks all over the world. Eugenie knew that sharks weren't stupid or mean. She was determined to prove everyone wrong. Eugenie fished through her mind and devised a brilliant experiment. Could she train a shark the way a person trains a dog? What do you think, Duck? Were sharks much smarter than anyone knew? They were. Eugenie was the first scientist in the world to train sharks, and even learned they could remember their training for at least 2 months after. Sharks were not mindless killers. Sharks were beautiful. Sharks were smart. They deserved to be studied, protected, and loved. And Eugenie's dream was now a dream come true. Shark bites. Dangerous monsters? No way. There are over 400 species of sharks, and of those, only about a dozen are known to be dangerous to humans, and encounters are extremely rare. The truth is, despite their fearsome reputations, humans are much more dangerous to sharks than they are to us. Every year, humans kill more than 100 million sharks. It's important to treat sharks with respect. There is no need to fear them. Sleep tight? Eugenie once swam in a cave full of peaceful, resting sharks suspended in the water. But were they really sleeping? Sharks breathe by using their gills to extract oxygen from the water. Eugenie noticed that the caves with sleeping sharks had more oxygen than usual. She believed that this extra oxygen would make it easier for motionless sharks to breathe, so they didn't need to swim to pass water over their gills. Before confirming this discovery, most believed sharks had to keep moving forever to stay alive. No toothbrush here. Sharks have impressive teeth, arranged in rows along their gums. These teeth are constantly being grown and moved forward in their mouths like a conveyor belt. Was Eugenie afraid of sharks because of their sharp teeth? No way. She was only bitten once in her entire life, and the encounter didn't even happen underwater. Once, on her way to a school visit with the mounted jaws of a tiger shark beside her in the car, Eugenie had to stop quickly at the red light. As she reached across the seat to keep the jaws from tumbling forward, the teeth chomped down into her arm. Sneaky skin. Sharks can move extremely fast in the water, and the secret to their speed is in their skin. Shark skin is made up of dermal denticles, which are more like teeth than fish scales. Some swimsuit designers have even created swimsuits that mimic shark skin to help Olympians swim faster in the water. And now, those are illegal. For other reasons. Big, small, everything in between. There is an incredible variety of sharks. The smallest in the world is the dwarf lantern shark at under 7 inches long. That's not very big. The world's largest, the whale shark, measures over 40 feet. Once, Eugenie was swimming with these giants in the Sea of Cortez. One swam very close to her, so close she was able to grab hold of it. She let it carry her for a long time, until she finally let go when she realized she was far away from her boat. That's dangerous. Mermaid purses. Some sharks give birth to live young. Others, like the dogfish, produce unique egg sacs that sustain their young. These leathery sacs are known as mermaid purses, and they provide the young shark embryo with a safe place to grow. Sometimes it's possible to find a mermaid's purse on the shore if you look very carefully. One of the beaches we went to every year when I was growing up had them quite often. They're pretty cool. Life at the top. Sharks are apex predators. This means they're at the very top of the food chain in the ocean. Because of this, they play an important role in keeping food webs and prey populations in balance. Without sharks, ocean ecosystems would collapse. Sharks are old. Very old. The first sharks appeared over 400 million years ago, and their ancestors are still around today. They have survived 5 major extinction events, including one 65 million years ago that destroyed the dinosaurs. This is the timeline of Eugenie Clark. I guess, yeah. Duck's talking now. I don't know if you can hear him. She was born, what did that say? She was born in 1922. She earned a Bachelor of Arts in Zoology. Then she earned a Master's in Zoology. Oops. And she passed away in 2015. The end. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where am I? There I am. Oh. Duck keeps getting Mike Wazowski'd by the microphone. There we go. I'll Mike Wazowski myself. You could, at least then you can still see Duck's cute face. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. If you're watching on the VOD, we totally appreciate you. We do this every Sunday, 7:30 Central Time. We hang out and we read some fun books. If you guys have any suggestions for books, let me know. We'll see if we can find them. And cool. All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna head out. Duck is getting ready for bed. So we're gonna head out. We'll see you next time.